Hi, I am Alok JHA and welcome to my YouTube channel. बच्चों, we are trying to cover modern India and we are trying to cover modern India through multiple choice questions. We are revising and then we are practicing. Fine, right? So, this should be our ninth video. We have already covered some areas. What all areas we have covered? Just see. We started modern India with this topic, 18th century, disintegration of Mughal Empire. Then we discussed the rise of new states, advent of Portuguese and Dutch. Then we discussed arrival of British and the French, Carnatic wars, rise of English power in Bengal, Dupleix and Clive separately we discussed and we practiced 10 questions. And then in the last video we discussed Anglo-Mysore war. Correct? So we are trying to see how British expanded. We are trying to see how British controlled Bengal, very important for them. We discussed how British controlled Mysore, defeated Hyder, Tipu. And now the next topic we are going to discuss, Marathas. Right? Bachon, that time after the decline of Mughal, Marathas were the most powerful, right? That time house. Very powerful. Challenge, great challenge for British Empire. So, how they controlled Marathas. This story we will try to see, and then we will try to, focus on some question, 10 questions we will practice. So, we should start, right? Fine. Now, so we are going to discuss Anglo-Maratha struggle. Correct. So, what we are going to do? First, we will try to understand the topic. I already told you I am not teaching the entire topic. I am giving you a brief outline of the entire topic. Brief outline of the entire topic, so that you understand the question in a better manner. Is that done? So just understand the topic for 10-12 minutes and then we will go for practice. Fine. So see, when you see this Anglo-Maratha struggle, this topic is also related to, at least Maratha topic is also related to medieval India. You know who was the founder of Maratha Empire? Shivaji. Right. Fine. Right. So Shivaji was the founder. The great Shivaji Maharaj. And after the decline or after the death of Shivaji, you will see, right, he was succeeded by, of course, his successor Sambhaji, who was killed by Aurangzeb. So in medieval India, we read about Marathas till 1707. So this portion we are taking in the medieval India. So Shivaji, his empire, his administration, then Sambhaji, Rajaram, right? And then you will see after that Tarabai, and you will see after Shivaji there was some decline, and here there was rise. So this part is medieval India, and 1707 death of Aurangzeb, and after death of Aurangzeb you will see, right, there was a civil war in Marathas, Tarabai versus Sahu. Fine. And right, because Sahu was freed, that was a part of tactics, and then Tarabai versus Sahu, and then there was a rise of Peshwas. Right, I'm just trying to revise. Rise of Peshwa. Right, so Sahu was the ruler, but the Peshwa became more important. Right, you have, right, Balaji Biswanath, you have Baji Rao, you have, right, Balaji Baji Rao, right? So there was a rise of Peshwa. rise of Peshwa, rise of Marathas. After 1707, there was rise of Marathas. I hope you are getting it. Why rise of Marathas? Because of some powerful Peshwas. Powerful Peshwa. They became the real challenger for the Mughal. They became the real challenger for the Mughal. So you must have heard about the great Baji Rao, right? So they played very important role, and after 1707 there was rise of Peshwa, rise of Marathas. But again there was a problem. In 1761 there was third battle of Panipat, and in the third battle of Panipat Marathas were defeated by Abdali. Bacha. So Marathas, they were defeated by Abdali in 1761, third battle of Panipat, and that was a great blow to the Maratha power. But fortunately, there was a new Peshwa, fourth Peshwa, Madhav Rao. Madhav Rao. He was a young boy, and because of Madhav Rao, there was revival of Marathas. Right? He was very dynamic man. Actually, boy, 17, 18-year-old. Right? So Madhav Rao tried to revive, but unfortunate, Madhav Rao died in 1772. Madhav Rao died in 1772. Right? You will see that was the unfortunate incident. Madhav Rao died. What we are doing? We are trying to create a background of Anglo-Maratha struggle. Background of Anglo-Maratha struggle. Is that fine? So Madhav Rao died. So again, third battle of Panipat declined, but he tried to revive. Madhav Rao. And after the death of Madhav Rao, the problems started for Marathas. Now, we are coming to our topic. I was trying to create a background. So, after 1772, right, you will see problem started, because after Madhav Rao, his brother Narayan Rao became the ruler, right? But the Chachaji, Raghunath Rao, Raghova, Chacha of Narayan Rao, Madhav Rao, right? So he was not happy. Politics started, and he was killed. Narayan Rao was killed. He was assassinated. He was killed probably by Raghova. So 1774, Narayan Rao was killed, and then Raghova for a brief period of time became the Peshwa. So you will see the politics. But Narayan Rao's wife Ganga gave rise to a son, posthumous son. His name was Savai Madhav Rao or Madhav Rao II. So now there was Madhav Rao II. Right, there was Madhav Rao II or Savai Madhav Rao. And Savai Madhav Rao was supported by Barabhai Council, headed by Nana Fadnavis. So now what is the scenario? Right? What is the scenario? Scenario is now there was a fight between Raghova's camp and Nana Fadnavis' camp. Raghova wanted to capture power, but Nana Fadnavis was not ready to give him opportunity. Correct? I prepared the background. So finally, you will see Nana Fadnavis was protecting his interest, Madhav Rao II or Savai Madhav Rao. But Raghova wanted to capture power. As Raghova realized the problem, he approached the British help, right? And that provided an opportunity for the British to capture power. Now the British could realize that, like in Bengal, they have an opportunity in the Maratha country. Are you getting it? So this is the background. I hope this is done. I hope you are getting it. Right. Now, we should proceed. What happened after that? Right. So I told you that there was two camps, Raghova's camp and Nana Fadnavis' camp. And Raghova could not get an opportunity. And therefore, you will see first Anglo-Maratha war started after 1775. Is that correct? 1775. So are you getting the background? Why first Anglo-Maratha war started? Because Raghova provided the opportunity. Raghova approached the Bombay government, the British, and signed a Treaty of Surat. Signed the Treaty of Surat. So Raghova provided the opportunity, and that opportunity was, right, the great thing for Bombay government, and they signed a Treaty of Surat, and first Anglo-Maratha war started. This is okay. So just try to understand. There were three Anglo-Maratha war. I will be explaining the story, but first you have to understand there were three Anglo-Maratha war. It started from 1775, Treaty of Surat, and it continued till 1782, Treaty of Salbai. This is the first thing you have to remember. First Anglo-Maratha war from 1775 to 1782. It started from Treaty of Surat. Why? Raghova approached Bombay government, Bombay presidency. And then you will see it ended with Treaty of Salbai, 1782. This is the first Anglo-Maratha war. Second Anglo-Maratha war, right? You will see second Anglo-Maratha war started from 1803 to 1805. You will remember all these dates, don't worry, right? So second Anglo-Maratha war. And then we have third Anglo-Maratha war, 1817 till 1818 or 19, 1818 or 19. So there were three Anglo-Maratha war. Right? 2 and 3. This is the one thing that you have to remember. First thing is to remember that there were three Anglo-Maratha war. First, from 1775 to 1782. Second, from 1803 to 1805. Third, from 1870 to 1818 or 1819. So, the British controlled this area by 1818. Is it done? Now, I started the story of the first Anglo-Maratha war. When first Anglo-Maratha war started? In 1775. Why it started? Because Raghova gave them an opportunity to interfere in the Maratha politics, internal politics. What was the internal politics? Raghova versus Nana Fadnavis. Right. So first Anglo-Maratha war started in 1775. Just try to understand it. So first Anglo-Maratha war started in 1775 and it continued till 1782. Is that fine? So just try to understand this. Right. So first Anglo-Maratha war started in 1775, Treaty of Surat. Raghova approached Bombay government. But that time there was already a regulating act. Right? You know that regulating act was there. And regulating act made the governor of Calcutta Governor General. He was the boss. And that time who was the Governor General? Warren Hastings. So when Raghova approached Bombay government, Warren Hastings was not happy. Warren Hastings said, "No sir, I will not accept this treaty." And Warren Hastings tried to go for a treaty with the Pune. And there was a treaty with Pune called Treaty of Purandar in 1776. Are you getting this conflict? Treaty of Surat was rejected and a new treaty signed, Treaty of Purandar in 1776. Because this treaty was with Bombay government and this treaty was with Calcutta. Warren Hastings, class, ego, correct? And now, after some time, Warren Hastings realized that no, Nana Fadnavis is in touch with French. He came to know about it. So, again, the war continued. They realized that no, Maratha must be tackled. Right? So, this war continued. And when they started fighting, Maratha started giving them, right, the real, right, the feel of their power. Guerrilla policy, scorched earth policy. B.L. Grover talked about it. And finally, they started facing problem. Who? British. And they had to sign an insulting treaty, Wadegaon, 1779. Wadegaon, 1779. Wadegaon. Because they started feeling pressure. Who? British. But Warren Hastings was not ready to accept the Treaty of Wadegaon. He continued the war. And finally there was a, you can say, there was a defeat of Scindia, and then there was a, you can say, a kind of negotiation, and Scindia mediated, and finally in 1782 there was Treaty of Salbai. Treaty of Salbai. Treaty of Salbai. So it was a kind of draw. It was a kind of draw. I hope you are getting it. So first Anglo-Maratha war was a kind of draw. So what all we mentioned? I said in the first Anglo-Maratha war, I mentioned Treaty of Surat, Treaty of Purandar, Treaty of Wadegaon, insulting treaty. Warren Hastings rejected, continued the war. And then 1782, Treaty of Salbai, it was a draw. And try to understand, it was a very important period for Maratha also and the British also. 20 years of peace. Have you heard about it? Treaty of Salbai gave them 20 years of peace. But Maratha could not utilize this. British utilized it. British focused on Mysore. I hope you remember. In the last video we talked about Anglo-Mysore war. They focused on Mysore. British utilized it. But Maratha could not strengthen their polity. And what happened? Right? After 1782. This is the first Anglo-Maratha war. And four treaty. Treaty of Surat, Treaty of Purandar, Treaty of Wadegaon, and then Treaty of Salbai. After 1782, what happened? Because the second Anglo-Maratha war started when? Second Anglo-Maratha war started after 1803 to 1805. This is the second Anglo-Maratha war. So what happened in this period? Right? What happened in this period? Right? Suppose in this period, what happened? In this period, what was the development? Development was, I told you, the British focused on their consolidation. But Maratha could not utilize this. Like they started fighting among themselves. In 1795, right, this Peshwa died, Savai Madhavrao. And now the new Peshwa was Baji Rao II. This Baji Rao was, right, not very, capable. Baji Rao II, son of Raghunath Rao. Baji Rao II became the Peshwa. And there was a fight between Baji Rao II and Nana Fadnavis. So, and in 1800, Nana Fadnavis also died. He was the most capable man. So, Nana Fadnavis died in 1800. I hope you are getting it. What happened in between? Right, 1782 to 1803. Nana Fadnavis also died. And when Nana Fadnavis died, Baji Rao II became what? Directionless. He committed a mistake, blunder. In 1801, Baji Rao II killed the brother of Holkar in 1801. And when he killed brother of Holkar, Bituji, you will see now there was a fight to capture Maratha Confederacy was, they started, fighting among themselves. And because of the fear of Holkar, right, Baji Rao II again went to the British and signed a very important treaty, subsidiary treaty called Treaty of Basin in 1802. Have you heard about Treaty of Basin, subsidiary treaty? Like Raghunath Rao went to the British camp and the first Anglo-Maratha war started, same Baji Rao II went to the British camp, signed Treaty of Basin, right? Ready to give some 26 lakh rupees, right? Ready to accept the terms of the British army, British resident. Correct? So, 1802, when the Baji Rao II signed subsidiary alliance treaty, right? Now the Maratha chiefs, Bhosles, Scindias, they were not happy with it. And because of this treaty of Basin, right, you will see the second Anglo-Maratha war started. Second Anglo-Maratha war started from 1803 to 1805. But in 1803 also, you will see Bhosle's defeated Treaty of Devgaon. Then you will see Sindhias were also defeated. Separately, they all were defeated. Finally, Holkars were also defeated. So, in the second Anglo-Maratha war, right, all these Maratha chiefs, they were defeated and they had to sign an insulting treaty. So, they controlled Marathas. They had a different treaty with Holkar, with Sindhia, with Bhosles, right, Devgaon, Surji, Arjangaon, right, Rajpurhat, right, all these names you must have heard. Correct? Now, so two Anglo-Maratha war is done. I hope you are appreciating, because these are very complicated things, right? You have many dates, you have many treaties, very difficult to understand. But one or two revision, you will, right, get everything. So first Anglo-Maratha war from 1775 to 1782. Then there was some development in between, and finally Bajirao committed a mistake, killed the brother of Holkar, and he had to finally go to the British camp, and he signed Treaty of Basin. And after Treaty of Basin, there was second Anglo-Maratha war, right, 1803 to 1805. Is that fine? Right? So first Anglo-Maratha war from 1775 to 1782. Then second Anglo-Maratha war from 1803 to 1805. Right, this is the first Anglo-Maratha war, this is second Anglo-Maratha war, and the third after 1817. After 1817 to 1819. This is the third Anglo-Maratha war. Now, what happened in between? Right, what happened in this period after 1805? So there was a separate treaty with, I told you, there was a separate treaty with Sindhia, Holkar, Bhosle, and Bajirao too was enjoying, right? He was enjoying the security of the British. But after 1813, policy changed, the British policy changed. Remember this point, very important. Now came Lord Hastings. Lord Hastings. And Lord Hastings started developing what you call policy of paramount C. Have you heard about it? Lord Hastings said that now I am not going to treat you like our partner. You are subordinate. You are paramount power. Right? So Bajirao too was disturbed. He was getting some privileges. He was getting some, right, some benefit. But Lord Hastings came out with the policy of paramountcy. He wanted to dominate, right? And now he wanted to control Pindaris also. He wanted to settle everything. So that was very disturbing for Bajirao too. He started, right, uniting the Maratha chief. He wanted to revive the Maratha confederacy. He tried his best to unite a great force of Marathas and, right, Pindaris. And that led to a clash between Marathas and British, right? And you will see Marathas, Peshwas were defeated. You will see there was defeat of all these Maratha Sardar. And finally, Peshwasi was abolished. There was a token, some gift also for them, Satara. Okay, so I hope you understood the overall idea of Anglo-Maratha war. First, second and third. This is okay or not? Right. So, you have understood first Anglo-Maratha war, right? You have understood first Anglo-Maratha war. Fine. First Anglo-Maratha war. You have understood second Anglo-Maratha war, and then you have understood third Anglo-Maratha war. Right? Third Anglo-Maratha war. Is it fine? Correct? So, we should now practice some question. Yes? Correct. Now, just see the first question. Can you see the first question? You tell me the answer of the first question. Regarding political development in the Maratha Confederacy after the death of Madhav Rao I, consider following statements. Narayan Rao succeeded Madhav Rao I as the fifth Peshwa, right or wrong? Narayan Rao succeeded Madhav Rao as the fifth Peshwa, correct? Raghunath Rao became Peshwa after assassinating Narayan Rao, correct? But he was not accepted as the legal heir, right? So this is wrong. You are getting this. Barabhai group led by Nana Fadnavis supported the claim of Narayan Rao's posthumous son Sabai Madhav Rao. This is correct. So 1 and 3 correct. So B would be the answer. Right? So remember it. Raghunath Rao for a brief period of time, yes, he became, but he was not accepted as a legal heir. So therefore this is wrong. Done? Correct. Now next. Which one of the following best explains the significance of the Treaty of Vadgaon in the First Anglo-Maratha War? When Treaty of Vadgaon? Can you tell me? Right? You have to write it. Treaty of Vadgaon. When? It was a part of First Anglo-Maratha War. Right? So what happened? It resulted in the what? It formally recognized Sabai Madhav Rao as the Peshwa. No. Treaty of Vadgaon. It transferred Salsette. No. It resulted in the French obtaining. No. It compelled the Bombay government to relinquish territories acquired by the English since 1775. Thus, this is correct. It was an insulting treaty for Bombay government. Right? So, after 1775, whatever they gained, they had to relinquish. So, this is D would be the answer. Treaty of Vadgaon can be asked. Insulting. Treaty for British. With reference to the First Anglo-Maratha War, consider the following statement. Mahadji Scindia played a major role in trapping the British forces near Talegaon. Yes, correct. I told you that Maratha started, dominating. They used their guerrilla tactics. So Mahadji Scindia played an important role. The Marathas employed a scorched earth strategy. Yes. During the campaign. They were very powerful. Warren Hastings accepted the Treaty of Vadgaon and immediately withdrew. No. I told you that Warren Hastings did not accept the Treaty of Vadgaon. The Treaty of Salbai brought the war to an end, yes, provided for peace between two sides for 20 years. Yes, peace was there or not? From 1882 to 1802. So peace was there. So this is correct. This is correct. So what would be the answer? 1 is correct, 2 is correct, 4 is correct. 1, 2 and 4. So B would be the answer. Correct. I hope you are getting it. Right. Next, consider the following events related to Second Anglo-Maratha War. If you know the story, you can easily handle. There is no need to remember the date. Defeat of the combined forces of Baji Rao II and Scindia by Holkar. This happened when, the Baji Rao II killed the brother of, you can say, Holkar. After that, you will see Holkar defeated. So this is the first development. Then Treaty of Basin will be the second, 1802. Right? Then Treaty of Deogaon and Treaty of Surji Arjangaon. Right? Deogaon and Surji Arjangaon. Surji Arjangaon with Scindia. So this is the same story. Holkar defeated, then Treaty of Basin, then Treaty of Deogaon, then Treaty of Surji Arjangaon. So 1803 only. Right? 1802 only. But if you know the story, you can easily handle. So 1, then 2, then 3, and then 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. B would be the answer. So even if you don't know the, you can say the exact date, if you know the story, you can handle it. So, fine. So, you can handle all this question chronological. Right. Next. With reference to the Treaty of Basin, consider the following statement. The Peshwa agreed to cede territories yielding an annual income of 26 lakhs. Correct. The Peshwa surrendered the city of Surat to the company. Correct. The Peshwa accepted that an English army will be stationed at Pune. Correct. Subsidiary alliance. The Peshwa agreed to place his relation with other states under British control. Correct. So, all correct. Treaty of Basin. It was a kind of subsidiary treaty. Right. Fine. Then next, which one of the following pair is correctly matched? Khirki, right? Holkar, no. Khirki, Peshwa was defeated. It is not correctly matched. Sitabaldi, Bhosle was defeated. It is correct. Mahirpur, defeat of Scindia. No. Right? Mandsaur, no, it is a treaty. It is not related to defeat of Peshwa. Wrong. Right? Wrong. So, what would be the answer? B. So, this kind of question can be asked. Done. Then next. With reference to the consequence of the Third Anglo-Maratha War, consider the following statement. After Third Anglo-Maratha War, what all happened? Peshwa was abolished, yes. Treaty of Pune was signed, yes. A forceful treaty was signed with Peshwa. Baji Rao too was made a British pensioner at Bittur, yes, correct. Satara was created as this gift was given. Satara gift was given. I told you Satara. You remember that? So Satara, that gift was given to them. It was created as a small principality under Pratap Singh, a descendant of Shivaji. This is also correct, right? You add this information, right? So here also all correct. Then next, the third and the final phase of the Anglo-Maratha struggle began with the appointment of which Governor General in 1813, right? So very important, right? Not Warren Hastings, Lord Hastings, right? So Lord Hastings, 1813, policy of paramountcy, a new policy. Then next, with reference to the Treaty of Surat, consider the following statement. Treaty of Surat, 1775, right? Raghunath Rao signed the treaty with Bengal presidency, not Bengal presidency, dear, right? It was Bombay presidency, so this is wrong. Raghunath Rao sought British military assistance to the secure, yes. The treaty marked the beginning of the First Anglo-Maratha War, yes. 2 and 3. So B would be the answer. I hope these are questions so that you can, right, revise it properly, correct. Then who was this Maratha statesman? In March 1800, the death of this influential Maratha statesman at Pune marked the turning point in Maratha politics. His death, and Colonel Palmer, British resident at Pune, remarked, with him departed all the wisdom and moderation of the Maratha government. Can you guess who was that man who died in 1800? And therefore Baji Rao too started making mistakes. He was Nana Fadnavis, right? B. So I hope, right, all these, right, helping you, right? So keep revising, and we will be taking next topic in the next video, correct? So thank you.